Picking up from where we left off last week, we find ourselves in the iconic New South Wales beachside city of Newcastle at the beautiful Stockton Beach Holiday Park. But before we get on the road to our final destination of the trip, we're going to take one last look around Newcastle in a very unique way. Well, we've had a bit of a poke around Newcastle, but figure the best way to find everything that's really exciting is to find a local tour operator who knows all the best spots, and we just discovered one with a bit of a twist.
That's right, Macca. We've arrived at Newcastle's famous tram tours, and our driver Chris is going to show us some of the highlights of this city.
All aboard!
Oh, the famous Newcastle tram tour was a really great trip. It was just over an hour and we got to see some of the real highlights of what Newcastle has to offer. One thing that really stood out to me, which I loved in particular, and I could have spent a long time there, was the Anzac Memorial Walk that they'd installed just a couple of years ago.
The Anzac Memorial Walk is one of the attractions that we've come to today. Now, it was built about 5 years ago, and it's as a memorial to all the service people from the Hunter region that went to World War I specifically. What's really touching about it is that they've got all the names of the people from this area that went to World War I stamped into these walls, and you can see where the families must come and show their friends or the children, and so you can see the families that are still in the area because the names are actually quite marked from people rubbing it. And people are coming and putting little memorials to their grandfathers or their great-grandfathers, in this case with photocopies of letters he'd sent home to his wife and his pay slips and everything. It's a must-see when you come down here, that's for sure. Highly recommended. Get on the tram. Even though it's not a real tram, it's a bus that looks like a tram, but it's a cool experience.
What a great way to see this wonderful city, and we went to some nooks and crannies that I never knew existed.
Absolutely, highly recommended. Next time you're here, make sure you do it. Now, speaking of in Newcastle, we're about to not be in Newcastle because we are off to Nelson Bay, so we better get back to the park and get ourselves organised.